Good evening, friends. My topic today is facts, myths, controversies, and the road ahead in contraception for adolescents. Her choice, her voice. Previously, WHO encompassed adolescents belonging to the age group of 10 to 19, but now we have a modern definition which includes 10 to 24 years, the young people. India has an estimated 370 million young people, the largest number ever. Sexual activity, we know, is a common aspect of human life. Access to contraception is a basic health need. But does that include adolescents too? Do they have the right to informed choices? How many of us are aware that the contraception in adolescence is unique? Let us have a look at the key backdrop facts. As per the National Family Health Survey 5, 2019-17, average age of sexual debut in India is 16 to 18 years. It is lower in the tribal or rural areas. 7.9% adolescent girls are already mothers or pregnant. Contraceptive use among married adolescents is only 22%. Unmet need for family planning among married adolescents is 27%. There is a rise in the incidence of premarital sex. And that is why, keeping in mind the 370 million population of young adults, adolescent contraception has become a public priority, public health priority. Why? Adolescents face potentially serious physical, psychological, and social consequences from unprotected sexual relations, ranging from early and unwanted pregnancy, childbirth, unsafe abortions, STIs, including HIV. The consequences can also be far-reaching, affecting their entire life chances and their options in future, especially in case of girls. The benefits of contraception are so many. Reduces the risk of unintended pregnancy, reduces maternal mortality. Even now, the incidence of maternal mortality because of unsafe abortion is 8%. Reduces the STI incidence, reduces the HIV prevalence. It meets the unmet contraception need, lowers the healthcare cost, ensures that more and more girls complete their education. Yet, there are barriers to use of contraception for adolescents. Why so? Let us look at them one by one. There's a lack of information about the contraception and their availability. Look at what the government of India has done. So many policies, so many programs have been launched. They have the RKSK, the Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram, the National Youth Policy, the Rashtriya Yuva Sashktikaran Karyakram, the School Health and Wellness Programs 2020. In addition, there is Vikaspedia, which is a portal launched by the GOI to empower citizens by making digital information accessible in regional languages. So many youth organizations, Tarishi, Prabha, Arsh, YP Foundation, so much, so many policies, so many programs, and yet, are these government schemes addressing the need? They exist only on paper. Implementation is weak and the supply chain gaps remain. And the most horrifying of the acts, the most fearful of the acts, the POCSO Act, and the role of the healthcare provider, a very big legal barrier. Section 19 of the Act says that any person aware of a minor engaging in sexual activity to report the matter to the local police, even if it is consensual, because the law pegs the age of consent at 18 years. So there is a duel between mandatory reporting versus denial of services. The POCSO Act has created confusion and fear among the health providers. What of gynecologists, family physicians, pediatricians, the pharmacists, everyone regarding advising or offering contraception? However, the good news is there is no legal restriction. The POCSO Act does not prohibit contraceptive counseling or services. Let us look at the role of the schools. Lack of knowledge about conception, contraception, and STIs. Do schools have a role to play? The answer is yes. Yet in India, only a very small fraction of schools are implementing the ARSH curriculum. Now, what is the ARSH curriculum? It is Adolescent Reproductive and Sexual Health Strategy and Mission Parivar Vikas, wherein the government of India has allowed adolescents to access and utilize a range of contraceptive methods, pills, barrier methods, LARC, and IUDs. Yet, are these accessible to the adolescents or to the young people? Is there opposition to teaching contraception in school? Yes, of course, from the conservative groups. But research has shown that well-designed education reduces the risk the risky behavior. It doesn't encourage it. There has to be a provision for comprehensive sex education in schools. What is a comprehensive sex education? It includes accurate information to be provided about STIs, HIV, contraception, inform about the access to sexual and reproductive healthcare services, provide information about the type of abuses, sexual violence, dating violence, empower the adolescents with knowledge and skills to make informed decisions about their sexual and reproductive health, contraception, sexual activity, promotes critical thinking about media portrayal, to resist harmful stereotypes, make informed choices, teaches about essential life skills like communication, negotiation, decision-making, not only about sexuality, in all aspects of life. How many of the schools have comprehensive sex education, except for a few elite schools? What is the controversy around giving condoms or pills in schools or various youth clinics? Critics argue that it promotes promiscuity. However, the evidence shows the opposite. Access to contraception delays sexual activity and reduces unsafe sex. And now comes our role as a gynecologist. So many adolescents and young people are fearful of approaching us because our own judgmental attitude, the judgmental attitude of the provider, not just the gynecologist, I would repeat, the pediatricians, the family physician, the pharmacist, the A&M, ASHA workers, everyone. Don't we judge them. We are reluctant to offer contraceptive counseling to unmarried adolescents. Confidential, non-judgmental counseling is ethical, legal, essential to reduce unsafe abortion and pregnancy. We gynecologists need to change our mindset. They trust us. And this is something I would like the esteemed chairpersons to please take up this point as to why are we reluctant to advise contraceptions to unmarried adolescents. Look at the world bodies. It recommends that pediatricians should spend one-on-one time with adolescents starting at the age of 11 years when they come for the routine checkups, discuss sensitive topics like sexual behavior and birth control. In fact, it also recommends that pediatricians should provide prescription in advance and also keep a supply of contraceptive ready. Can we do that? Again, a question I would like the honorable chairpersons to please address. Autonomy versus parental involvement. Even today, we as parents still want to have a say in each of our children's decision. Coercion for early marriage, to have children. Now, can a 16-year-old girl sitting in your chamber come without her mother? Can she come for contraception counseling? Yes. There is no legal age restriction for contraception. How does the child marriage fuel unmet contraceptive needs? Married adolescents are pressured into early childbearing, but they often lack the decision-making power or they lack access to contraception. Big role played by the social media misinformation, religious bodies also, cultural and moral opposition. Adolescents they are exposed to inaccurate information online. It impacts their perception and the usage and trust. The role of an impartial, non-judgmental attitude of the gatekeepers of the society. Whenever we as gynecologists go for various health camps, checkups to the societies, I would request all of us who take up these activities to please include the influential citizens of that area, to involve the other doctors in that area, the pharmacists, the healthcare providers like the A&M or the ASHA worker. Let us talk to the parents, the children, sensitize them for their decision for informed choices about contraception, their sexuality. What is the unmet need for contraception in adolescent girls? 27% of married adolescents want to delay or avoid pregnancy, but they do not use any method. This should be looked into. Is there a link between contraception and education? Yes. Contraception allows girls to complete their schooling, avoids forced marriages, and break the cycle of poverty. Do boys and male adolescents have a role in contraception? Absolutely, yes. Male engagement is also very vital for condom use, consent, and prevent coercion. They're often left out of the conversation. So when we talk to the parents, we just focus on the girl child. Let us involve the boys too. Now, the second part of my talk is contraceptives in adolescents. Is any consideration before initiating contraception? Do they need a pelvic examination? No. unless and until that the method they have requested for, it requires a pelvic examination. PAP is really not indicated till the age of 21, 25, and we must offer them dual method, where a mechanical barrier like a condom with other method. This is for protection and prevention of STI. We must, when they come to us for contraception counseling, discuss emergency contraception. And like consider advanced prescriptions. When to start contraception? The easiest is the quick start method, which is preferred. So that means that whenever the girl comes to you, when she comes to your chamber for counseling for contraception, just that very day you start. Don't wait. Don't ask her to go back and come again on when she starts her periods on the 5th day of period like we usually do. Start the method then and there. I will not go into the details. We all know then how to check for pregnancy and how to have another backup protection by using a mechanical method. If not the quick start, then to make it easy for her so that she continues using the method the first day of menses, or you can also suggest by making it easy for her by asking her to take on the Sunday after the menses start. Now, what are the best practices world over? The international bodies, WHO, ACOG, and FIGO, they all recommend LARC, that is long-active reversible contraception. They, in fact, advise PTL, that is push towards LARC. And why is it so? Why do they push? Because LARC are methods that do not rely on the user. So we have the mechanical barriers which are to be used every time. Then we have the pills which are to be taken every day. But LRC are recommended because for a young child who may not adhere to the rule, LARC is the best. And of course, it is a primary choice post-abortion when they are most receptive for suggestions and advice. Different types are, we know, IUDs and etranodistrel, which is a single rod contraception plan. I just looked up to find out whether there was anything specifically for adolescent use, and I came across Skylina, how it is only present in the USA. The dimensions and the frame are smaller than Mirena, so it makes it particularly suited to younger women. Implanon, we all know, is a single rod containing progesterone, approved for 3 years. It is inserted under the skin of the inner upper arm. Again, a question I would want the honorable chairpersons to address. How many of us are using LARC in adolescents? Why LARC in adolescents in India is underutilized? Are we not that well trained? Have we not studied the same books? Then why is the hesitation? Why is that concern that should I use it? My friend, my colleague is across my chamber is not using it. Why should I use it? Someone has to break the chain. Surprisingly, injection Timpa is also considered a great method for adolescents, again, because it is user-friendly. Once given, she is free for the next 3 months. Role of emergency contraception. The people say, the parents, the teacher, they say that easy availability of EC will encourage irresponsible sexual activity. No. On the contrary, it plays a very important role in very specific scenarios when one is unable to negotiate protected sex, in case of a contraceptive failure, and when one has limited or no access to other contraceptive options. What about, is it available? Yes. The DGCI India has allowed the sale of levonorgestrel tablets without any prescription as an emergency contraception. It is available to all irrespective of their age. And that is what the global trend is. We are aware of the mechanical methods. When you counsel the adolescent for the use of a non-hormonal or a mechanical method, please tell her that the failure rates are as high as 16%, and the dual method for prevention is better, where a condom is used along with another hormonal method to avoid STDs and HIV. What about combined oral hormonal contraceptives? They are allowed, yes, of course, but WHO has advised careful use. The only thing is the adherence challenge. Lower compliance will increase the risk of contraceptive failure. That is why LARC are recommended as the first choice in adolescents because of the fear of adherence challenge. They need comprehensive counseling, the correct use, the side effects, what is the mispill protocol, and also we have to inform them about the lack of STI protection. Can we prescribe oral contraceptives to adolescents? Yes, of course. No fear. When we are writing OCPs for girls with menstrual irregularity, acne, dysmenorrhea for PCOD, yes, we can. They are safe and suitable for adolescents too, under medical supervision, of course. What are the contraceptive methods which are not recommended for adolescents? Withdrawal because of the low efficacy risk and relies entirely on the male partner, sterilization because it's irreversible, and the natural planning methods. What is the biggest myth about adolescent contraception in Bharat? That talking about it will promote sex. In truth, education empowers safer choices. It delays sexual debut. To conclude, we as gynecologists need to address the low contraceptive use, the unmet need, the legal and the social barriers that hinder access to reproductive health care for this population. We need to focus on the adolescent-friendly services for empowering so that they make informed choices rather than desperate or wrong ones. Protecting adolescents from pregnancy is not about morality. It's about public health, dignity, and the future of Viksit Bharat. In the bloom of youth, where questions start, contraception is wisdom, not just a chart. A path to protect, to plan, to be. With knowledge and care, she walks freely. Thank you.